Hello, and thank you for listening to this presentation on the fruits of love. Now, this review will not focus or talk about problems in a relationship. Rather, I will underscore maintenance that you should exercise each day that will help you to fine-tune your loving relationship to make the bonds of love stronger between the two of you. Although some of you may have concerns, and I do understand. You may say something like this: I just don't need to hear from another so-called expert telling me about love. After all, I have an absolute loving relationship. Nothing needs to be improved. I am satisfied with the way things are. I'm not an expert on love. However, I have enjoyed the winds of sweet and ripe fruits of love all my life. And oh yes, I have had a few stale and empty winds in between. And thus, I am able, to offer you prudent information that will be productive in your relationship. But first, let me ask you a few searching probes. The love that flows in your heart, this love that was given to you by your loved one who said, I love you. Are you certain that this love is real? Or is this love in your heart nothing more than your imagination? And I'm going to ask you this: the love that you are giving to someone, are you sure your love is genuine? And can you substantiate that you love this person unconditionally? And how about you? How often have you lamented to your best friend, you see, girlfriend, I just can't find someone to love me? Oh yes, I have looked wide and I've looked narrow. I've looked high and I've looked low. But you know, I just cannot find that special someone to love me as I wish and to love me when I wish. Yes, I do realize that you must be lovely to be loved, but I don't give any stock in all that foolishness. You know what? I'm just going to give my love to God and be done with it. Now, I cannot give you a universal definition of what love is. Because you see, love means different things to different people. There are so many parameters involved when we choose to love someone. And thus, I cannot give you a universal definition of love, and no one can. So let's start with this. When someone says to you, I love you, what happens to your mind and body when you believe them? Well, scientific studies give us this much: that being in love causes our body to release feel-good hormones and neurochemicals that trigger specific positive reactions. We benefit from being in love. We have better health. We're better able to deal with our challenges, have more friends. We're happier, more empathetic to others when we are in love. And you know, when we know that we are loved, we leave room to grow emotionally and spiritually. When we choose to love someone, it becomes an investment, a commitment. We deposit our love daily into another person's heart. Thus, we expect a return on our investment from that person. And this return, I like to call it, is in a form of a dividend, a love dividend. And you know, if this is not returned to us, this love dividend, well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to withdraw our investment. Go to another heart to make a deposit. But is love at first sight even real? Well, a person can fall in love at the mere sight of another person. Generally, this is associated with the male gender who will fall in love at the drop of a dime. And I'm guilty dozens and dozens of times. During this process of falling in love, we are overwhelmed with a sensation which feels like love, but it really is not love according to research. This feeling is brought forth by a chemical reaction, and it is a good match of endorphins between two people, and in essence, it is an indication of strong physical attraction. And this love by first sight is known as falling in love. And such behavior can happen, say, with the purchase of a new vehicle, or if you meet someone for the very first time. You see, falling in love and being in love differs. Falling in love is effortless and temporary. Case in point, let's go back to that new vehicle. Well, you saved for 2 years to purchase that new vehicle. You had it washed every day, polished every other month. No one could drive it. No one could park near it. It's been 2 years now. You don't care who parks near it. Anyone can drive it. You don't do the maintenance because you see, you are never in love with that vehicle. You are just falling in love. And that is only temporary. Now let's go correlate that with the person that you met for the very first time. Oh, they were flawless. After 8 months, you start seeing all the imperfections there. And you are no longer falling in love with that person. You see, when we are falling in love, our feelings can evaporate rather quickly. Now, I'm going to give you what I think is a very tangible analogy about falling in love. It involves my friend. He met the lovely lady of his dreams, fell in love with her like it was nobody's business, married her after 2 months of meeting her. Now, he would have married her, say, in 1 month, but you have to wait for your marriage license and so forth. Well, they stayed married for a little less than 1 year, decided to have an amicable divorce, go their separate ways. So on the day that they were granted their mutual divorce, they went out together, celebrated together, went home, had passionate commerce that night. The next morning, goodbye to you. After about 4 years, by happenstance, their paths crossed again. Start dating again. This time they dated for about 2 years before they decided to get married. On his 5th anniversary, I asked him, I said, how's that marriage going for you, fella? Going just great. I'm so much in love, it hurts. How so? Well, you see, when we have problems, we write it down if we can't remember it because we don't want to add emotions later. And then we sit at the kitchen table when we have time and we iron it out. And we write down things that could strengthen our relationship. I said, really? Yeah. You see, he was not in love when he first married, and neither was his partner. But now they are in love. Now, you see the difference here. Listen, when we are in love, unlike falling in love, well, we do maintenance, things that should be done to stabilize, to strengthen our marriage. You see, we're more disciplined. We live with 2 hearts, but we love with 1 heart. And it's like this. You have 2 pillars, but if one pillar goes awry, the other pillar is so strong because of your love, it will support the relationship. Now, let's see what Victor Hugo gives us about the fruits of love. He says this: the greatest happiness of life is the conviction that we are loved, loved for ourselves, or rather loved in spite of ourselves. I think we can take this away. That we may have undesirable qualities. Nonetheless, someone will love us. But just how do we develop love? Where did this love come from that we yearn for? I'm going to speak anecdotally. And that is this: we are born with the love gene. However, we are not born loving anyone, not even our mother. This love gene must be nourished beginning at birth if it is to become active for a lifetime. And when our parents, most noticeably our mother, tends to our every caprice, to our every wish, to our need to be pampered, we quickly associate this rapturous feelings when we hear the word, I love you. And thus, we will always yearn for that intoxicating feeling. However, now, if a mother does not massage our love gene enough or do it properly, well, what happens? Well, we may never know what love is. Our euphoric feelings of pleasure and passion may never be realized. We may not trust our thoughts about love, and we certainly wouldn't trust anyone else to love us. Now, let me ask you something. How often do you say to your loved one, something pumpkin pie, I love you more than I did when we first married? Place your hand to my heart, honey, and look into my eyes, and you can see it in my eyes and you can feel it in my heart how much I love you. But why do some people find love more easily? It is believed our confidence and our beliefs about ourselves plays a major part in how we select someone to love. Unconsciously, we will match how we look to a person we may wish to start a relationship with. If we feel we are not extremely good looking, attractive, handsome, then we will feel we will not be attracted to the person we wish to know better. So we sort of mirror our looks to the person that we want to know better. Now let's turn to the scriptures to get a thought about love. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 13, chapter 4th verse, and it gives us this. Love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. I think we can use that as a guiding post to tell us what love is not and what love could be. Now, I would like to call love a muscle. You know, if we have muscles, we want to build those muscles up to make them stronger. And so this is correlated with love. You must do something to establish that, to keep it going. Now, listen, we all know people who once loved someone profoundly, and their heart was broken into a quadrillion little pieces and scattered to the hollow winds of yesterday. And that person says, heart, love doesn't live here anymore. I trusted you to give me love, but you didn't. All I have, nothing but millions of little pieces left over. I hurt every day. I'll never give you a chance to love again. It's too hurtful. Well, that person should know this, that a heart cannot be destroyed. It can be damaged. You just have to give that heart more love so it can mend. That's what it thrives on. And that person should know this. The heart is wise and do not hold grudges, unlike the conscious mind. In other words, the heart will forgive. Just give me some more love. Now, two friends are chatting, and one says this, you know, friend, I thought about finding another lady to love me again as you suggested. Oh, it has been more than 10 years since my sweet loving wife passed away. But you know, every lady that I meet can't hold a candle to my deceased wife. She was a perfect woman, did everything I wanted her to do, spent all her time with me, never questioned me about anything. Now, I just can't find anyone that's going to mirror her. I'm just going to give up. Now consider this. A mother boasts to her best friend, girlfriend, my oldest boy purchased me a marvelous diamond bracelet. 2 years ago, that wonderful, perfect son of mine gave me a fur coat. But you know something? I cannot say the same about my other children. They don't care about their mother. Not so fast, mother. It could be that your son is giving you all these here lavish gifts are feeling guilty about something. The conscience is getting to him because he could have given you a lot of problems growing up. Chances are your other children love you just as much. They cannot maybe afford this. And know this, mother. Giving someone luxurious gifts does not certify that you love that person. Now, one person was boasting to his friend, boy, I know my old lady loves me. She makes passionate comments to me when she doesn't want to, cooks me 2 square meals every day. Doesn't bother me with doing things around the house that need to be done. Doesn't say anything. Don't get on me about anything. But let me ask you, friend, can you validate that your old lady loves you just the way I did? Well, the friend says this, well, I have never used parameters to validate whether I'm loved. I just accept that I am. But listen, quite often when we pray together, my grateful wife glances at me while saying this, Heavenly Father, I am grateful for my rock of Gibraltar, because through my husband's lovely and giving heart and understanding mind, I am able to spread my gratitude, my appreciation by giving back to the less fortunate. Now, know this, we can never know a person completely. We can't even know if they really love us. We can only know them from the standpoint that we want to know them. Nonetheless, we still should give our love unconditionally and hope that we will have it returned profoundly. Now, let's discuss a few types of love, and we're going to talk about 4. There are more than 4. Unconditional love, this is altruistic love. Unselfish, this is where you're very kind, maybe do volunteer work. Romantic love, usually associated with romance, sexual pleasure, or passionate commerce. Self-love, this is where you are narcissistic, stuck on yourself. I don't care if anybody loves you or not. The last one, familiar love. Now, this is affectionate love felt between friends of the same gender, or it could be opposite gender, because you see, there's no physical or sexual attraction there. And this is the type of love, familiar love, that you have between parent and offspring. And undoubtedly, this is the type of love mentioned in the Bible. Love your enemy, love your brother, love your sister, and so forth. You see, when we love someone, we want them to be what we believe they should be, or what we want them to be. Simply put, we believe we know what is best for the person we love unrestricted. Now, can a loved one die from a broken heart? Figuratively, yes. Literally, no. But we all have heard of someone that was been married for decades, and now everything passed away. Shortly after, they expire. Well, you can bet this, that the person who died last had a lot of challenges, say physical challenges, maybe hypertension, emotional or mental challenges, and losing their everything. The stress was too much to overcome, and it just did them in. Again, let me ask you this. How often do you say, I love you? And mean it? Okay, please listen. I'm going to probe your thoughts about your relationship, your loving relationship. Have you taken the time to stare into your loved one's eyes? And I'm not talking about for a second or two. You have to look at them to have a conversation, or if they pass by. I mean to gaze into your loved one's eyes, say for 30 seconds or more. If so, you will feel a deeper feeling of romance and appreciation. Here's why. The eyes tell 1,000 stories. And if it's a lady's eyes, oh, they're full of love, altruism, compassion, empathy. All the good stuff are in those eyes. All you have to do is look. You'll appreciate that person more. And let me ask you this. Have each of you just gaze, maybe while sitting down, into your loved one's face. Just gaze there, not look at the face. You have to do that. Have you rub your hand over the face, your fingers over there? There's a mole there, there's a wrinkle or a blemish there. Just gaze at that face up close, and do this maybe every month. Why? You know why? Because every day we change physically. We just don't grow old just like that. There's a subtle change. And if we can just get up close and look at our loved one, we'll have a better feeling of love for that person. You might say, you know something? I see a wrinkle here now. I love you even more. And let me ask you this. How often do you say thank you and please? Thank you for doing this. Would you please move this for me? And do you say something like this after passionate commerce? The next morning, you write on a little card, put it on the mirror in the bathroom. It has something like this: thank you for your passionate love last night. Do you do that? I had the pleasure of being involved with a lady who came from the most deplorable conditions, but she flooded me with please and thank you every day. Cliff, would you please pass me the ketchup? Thank you, Cliff. Cliff, thank you. Oh, you're welcome. And let me ask you this. Fellas, this is for you. Have you been passing a department store window and your eyes are captivated by a well-dressed mannequin in the window? And do you visualize that beautiful dress, that outfit, designer's purse, would look gorgeous on your wonderful wife? Do you say that? Do you say, I need to purchase that? Surprise my wife. Oh, she's going to look lovely. Have you done this? I'm willing to bet you do not know your wife's favorite color or dress size. And let me ask you this. Do you open the car door like you did when you were falling in love? Do you all write each other cards And I'm talking about not the store-bought. Just write something, saying how lovely and so forth. Put it in an envelope. Go to the post office, put a stamp on it, mail it back to your address with your significant other name on it. And when they get it, who is this writing to me? Oh, God, and they read it. You might not even know your significant other's handwriting. Now, all these gestures fertilize a loving relationship, so it will continue to produce fruits of love. And let me ask you this. How often do you all send each other flowers? And I'm not talking about for holidays. That's so mundane. I'm talking about in between. And you know something, ladies? Men love roses. And do you ever say something like this? Sweetheart, have I told you lately that you are a wonderful and loving wife and mother? Or something like this. Darling, my lovely husband and outstanding father, you are the backbone of this family. And do you look into each other's eyes and say something similar to this? My everything, know that if I were afforded the opportunity to make you over, I would not subtract or add a thing. Why would I change what I love profoundly? And let me ask you this, ladies. Do you try to look appealing around the house? Like you did when you were falling in love, not a strand of hair was out of place, the makeup and so forth. You had that beautiful smile. Or do you just walk around the house, lounge around the house in your pajamas or in your underwear? You don't care. Because you might say, well, we got 2 kids. Where is he going? We've been married for 12 years. He's not going anywhere. I don't have nothing to worry about. Don't you bet all the money left over in your purses on it. You must keep the romance active and exciting. Now, I think we all can concur this much. No one remains in a relationship due to physical commerce, rather with intimate and oral thoughts. Something like this. Honey pie, you are my compass and my book of love poems, which I enjoy every day. Now, I sincerely believe the most challenging task for most of us is not to have enough money to burn a wet mule or to overcome a physical challenge, but to love someone else, to trust that someone can love us, to give our heart profoundly. Now, I'm going to give you a note of caution here. Don't be in love with yourself. I'll say that again. Love yourself, but do not be in love with yourself. Because see, if you're in love with yourself, you leave room for no one else to love. And furthermore, you'll be jealous if anyone tries to love you. Now, I think we all can concur this much. Love is real, and love is not an imagination. It is a medicine which we don't need a prescription for. And this medicine comes to us free from God through our love gene. All we have to do is want it. Now, I will conclude with my thoughts about finding love. And you should say this. This is what I want you to write down. Loving someone is never a mistake, because I will undertake the following guiding posts. I will trust my unbiased heart to choose the right person and to permit my prudent searching mind to know the right purpose and the right degree for loving a person. And I will trust my wise and forgiving heart to know the right way to love a person. And I will ask both my heart and mind, when is the right time for me to be involved in love? Now, if you will remember this information and put this note in your purse, I can assure you the fruits of love will be yours, and everything will be as easy as saying, I love you, and to say it every day. I'm Clifton A. Castile, and I have enjoyed this presentation, and I hope that you have been able to procure something about this presentation that will help you to enhance, to fine-tune your loving relationship, to make it stronger. Thank you so much for listening. Find someone to love, please.